Hi everyone, Abigail Reese here, and I've got with me Joe Curtis
Hi
and
there.
say hi Joe,
Hi there.
and James Curtis.
Hi everyone.
Now we're in a very fortunate position with James Curtis because not only have I known him for an incredibly long time, but this is a man who has 25 years experience in network marketing industry, and so we thought it'd be really good to bring him on here and just have a chat and maybe ask a few questions that could really be helpful for people who are in this industry, no matter how long you've been in it, if you're just brand new to it, or if you've been in it for some time. So yeah, James, thanks for being here with us anyway.
Yeah, great to be here, Abby.
Yeah, awesome. First question I have for you is
Far away.
what's been the biggest challenge you've had in this industry? Because we all know that it can be challenging at times.
I think the biggest challenge when it comes to the actual industry on the whole is, it's keeping focused and keeping the mindset of like what you started it for. So many people come into the industry and they sort of, they're all fired up, they're all raring to go. They really can't wait to crack on, and then they go through a few people that say no to them, or for whatever reason, it doesn't really go their way, and they tend to sort of, they can sometimes like fall away or lose sight of why they started in the first place. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges when someone joins network marketing.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's true, because I found the biggest challenge to be, keeping myself focused and positive and dealing with the frustration and that kind of thing when it's not you're not getting the kind of results that you want.
I think. Go on.
Sorry,
I was just going to say, I think as well that when you're doing this, it's up to you to remain motivated. It's not like where you go to a job where you've got to do certain tasks and your boss kind of makes sure that you do them. Whereas when you're doing something like this, it's all down to you and keeping motivated and putting in an action plan every day and making yourself follow through with it. It can sometimes get very challenging.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, when I first started, many years ago, and it was just a case of, I had to look in the mirror and just sort of say, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And
I love that. That's great.
And that's just the, that's the mindset you've got to have. One, when you're working for yourself, self-employed people know this. You've got to get out there. There's no one, there's no boss to tell you what to do and stuff like that. But at the same time, being self-employed, requires discipline. So, you've got to sort of look at it. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. And the only person that's ever going to do it for you is the one staring back in the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, what would be your recommendation though for people to avoid burnout? Because I know a lot of people, like you said, they get frustrated, they get told no a few times, and they give up on why they started it in the first place. So, what would you recommend people to do when they feel frustrated or burned out?
Yeah, I mean, we've all been there. We've all sort of got times in our lives or in our business lives where we work really hard, and we seem to think like, sometimes we can feel like we're stumbling through, we're hitting that roadblock, But I think the most challenging thing is if you work and don't take any rest at all, then you're just setting yourself up for burnout. I've always sort of tried to, as much as possible, like, if I feel like I'm tired or things are sort of getting a little bit too much, I'll take time out. And I think it's getting that balance between sort of working hard, getting focused, and moving it forward. And what it's like in network marketing. It can all be sort of full on sometimes, lots of people joining, lots of excitement, momentum, and that's great. But at the same time, you need to really sort of take time out as well, because you'll tend to do more if you're less tired. So taking that time out, getting that balance right, will help you stay focused longer term. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that sounds very sensible advice, and I know you've given us advice over the years regarding many of the things you've spoken about already, which has been, as I said, we're very lucky to know you and to have known you for so long and have the wealth of your experience in this. There are things that can be challenging in this industry for certain, but what would you say is the most exciting thing about the industry?
I think the most exciting thing about the industry is it's the fact that we can all see the promise. And if you can't see the promise, you won't pay the price. So when it comes to, at the end of the day, network marketing enables us to have residual income and peace of mind. And I think the most exciting thing about network marketing, and why I actually joined in the first place, was I could see the marketing plan in front of me, and it was like the what if goes through your mind, and it certainly went through my mind. And what if I was earning 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 a month or more, and what it would do for your own life, So I think the most exciting thing about network marketing really is the fact that it's residual income, and it's leveraging your time as well. So you get earn more income, but you also get more time as well. So it's about the lifestyle, but at the end of the day, it's also about peace of mind.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting industry for certain. I mean, there's a million reasons why we are in this industry as well, why so many more people are too. I mean, it's just, there's nothing like it out there. There's absolutely nothing like it. So obviously you've had some mentors along the way, people who've inspired you. I know you're very big on personal development, which is a really, a necessity, I would say, in this industry. So who would you say is your biggest mentor regarding personal development, either those well-known or people you've known in the past that might not be as well-known to others?
Well, that's quite an easy one for me to answer. My main mentor in life always has been, ever since I started many years ago. And I didn't actually didn't really get into self-development until about 2 or 3 years after I got into network marketing. But when I did, it has to be Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn is my main mentor. I've actually met Jim Rohn in real life, and he was just a massive inspiration to me. And not only in my business life, but also in my personal life. How to deal with people, and how to take away some of the frustration, turning frustration into fascination. And try not to be frustrated by it, be fascinated by it. And I listened to Jim Rohn with his really good charisma and really good, it made all sense to me. So Jim Rohn is definitely my main mentor. I've got a few others. There's Les Brown. There's Brian Tracy. I've also met Brian Tracy. I've listened to Jerry Clark with the Magic of Colors, and all kinds of different people in the industry, Zig Ziglar, and loads of other people. But I think my main one, if I had to sort of put it down, if I had to write it on a piece of paper, who was my best all-time favorite mentor, and who's sort of helped me the most in my own life, in my personal life and my business life, it has to be Jim Rohn.
Wow, yeah, you've picked some great ones there. I mean, Jim Rohn is definitely someone we listen to regularly as well. Absolutely amazing guy. You're a big fan of him too, aren't you, Joe?
Yeah, he does great self-development trainings, and he's funny with it as well. He's got a really good personality as well.
Meeting him.
He was like that to the end. I mean, right up until Jim Rohn died at his last convention, which he done. And he was that kind of character right up until the day he died. He actually lived the life he taught others. He actually lived the life, and he was an amazing man.
Yeah. So, what is the best bit of advice that you could give anyone in network marketing?
Best bit of advice I could ever give anyone in network marketing is, I think if I was to look back over the last 25 years, all the time I've been involved, it would have to be, work hard and not waste time with people, the wrong people. You can sometimes, work really, really hard in this industry, and you're sort of working really hard for other people as well. But, sometimes we can spend an awful lot of time with the wrong people, and it's always the wrong people that want more of our time. So you've got to be very careful of that one. And my biggest advice would have to be, don't spend too much time with the wrong people.
And just to elaborate a bit more on that, what kind of traits does the wrong person have? Because I know a lot of people will be listening to that and they'll think, how do I know if someone in my team is the wrong or the right person to work with?
Yeah, for sure. I think you get to know very soon. I mean, I always say, you get to know someone in the first 21 days when they start doing the business. In fact, sometimes it's sooner than that. If you've got someone in your team and they're not really doing much, You know, they're not sort of plugging in. They're not sort of they're not on the what you're on. Like if you're on Facebook or social media, you're doing videos and stuff like that on YouTube, and then just not doing any of that. You know, they're not giving you that sort of vibe that they're really into this. And they're the sort of wrong kind of people that you should be. You know, you shouldn't be working with them. Yeah.
And I guess if they have a bad attitude or negative.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have the right attitude. I mean, when you know, when I first started in network marketing, I had a full-time business, had a full-time attitude, sorry, part-time business. You know, so you really got to have a full-time attitude, even if it's part-time in the beginning. If you haven't got the right attitude, then you can have real problems. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So obviously, you know, when you got into network marketing, you started building a team. How long was it before you actually started seeing people in your team duplicating what you were doing?
Yeah, I had well, when I first started, the first year, it was really sort of like building the foundations, really. And there wasn't really anyone serious that came in really for about a couple of years. But mind you, back then things were a lot different. Things were a lot faster now. What with the internet, we didn't have internet back then. I don't think I even had a computer when I first started networking. I don't think I did. And yeah, things were a lot different. But about 2 years, I would say, it really did start to duplicate. You know, we had some real serious people in there. They were really starting to duplicate. And in the first year, I think no, in the first sort of couple of years, it was about sort of a couple of hundred people in the team, 300, something like that. But after the sort of first sort of couple of years, around about sort of, I think it was back in, oh God, 2000, 2001, something like that. It started to duplicate and sort of get up into the hundreds of people in the team, up to like the thousands, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got quite a few thousand people in another network right now,
Yeah,
haven't you, that you've been in for so long?
Yeah, about 5,500.
That's amazing, incredible. So what would be the best advice that you could give to someone who's listening, who's just literally starting out in this industry? You know, they've got no experience and this is all brand new to them. What would you advise to them?
Best bit of advice you give anyone that's just started in network marketing is, you know, follow the person in your upline that is successful. It might not be your sponsor. It might be the one that is actually successful. It could be that you know, come into this business from someone that doesn't really hasn't really plugged in. They've just sort of signed you up, but they're new to it themselves. So my advice, best bit of advice I can give anyone is to only follow those that are where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously success is a subjective term and it means different things for different people. I mean, when did you consider yourself a success in the network marketing industry?
I don't think I ever have. I don't still to this day don't see myself as being successful in network marketing. You know, you know, I've been in it a long time and I've sort of achieved some good things in it, and I've had nice toys and sports cars and you know, things for my hobby and stuff like that. I still don't see myself as really as a success. You know, I'm on a journey, you know, and I'm on this constant journey, you know, and it really, you know, success doesn't have a destination as such, really. It's just a journey, yeah.
No, that's it. Like some people might consider success being on the income level you're on, because you're on a fantastic income and you have been for quite some time now. And to a lot of people, being able to work from home as you do and make an income that's a lot higher than the average job, I mean, that would be very successful.
I mean,
to others, it's making $1 million a year.
And to others, it's making, you know, 500 a month that'll pay the mortgage, you know. So,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, everybody's idea of success is different, and everybody has their own goals. I mean, what is your opinion on setting goals? And
well, really, you know, when it comes to setting goals, they're absolutely vitally important and crucial to your own success. You know, if you're, you know, if you was playing a game of football and there was no goals, you know, you wouldn't be able to score. So, you know, goals are really important. I mean, they're your sort of drivers in life. You know, it's not the money as such. It's not the metal and paper. It's what the metal and paper and the money can do for you. And, you know, by having goals, it sort of sets you on course to actually, you know, perform and, you know, get productive or get proactive in what you want to pursue. So I think, yeah, goals really important. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And by goals, are we talking like financial goals? Yeah, because I know if you set a financial goal in a time frame that you want to achieve that by, and you don't achieve what you set out to do, then I think, from my experience, I think that can cause some kind of frustration in your team and in yourself as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I've never had financial goals. Not really. I've always had goals of like, it's something to do with my hobbies, or it's the new car, or it's something on the house, or something like that. It's not, for me personally, it's not financial. Money's just metal and paper. It's what money can do for you. So when people set goals, it's really sort of, it's a material thing that's personal to them, or sometimes it's not a material thing. So, goals can mean different things to, lots of different people. But really, at the end of the day, we don't strive for the money. We strive for what the money can buy us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important to write goals down. I know, like, people like Jim Rohn often talked about writing down your goals. So when you have them there on paper in front of you and you're visualizing the things you want, it's a constant reminder of when you're, like, if you're having a day of frustration, which of course everybody, there's no one in this industry that hasn't at some point had a day of frustration. I mean, no one's immune, even the most successful, to the people just starting out. But they often say, having like picture goals, having goals there in front of you where you can look at, that a constant reminder of why you're doing it, so that when you do have those frustrating days, then that can really like help.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is what's really, really bizarre. For years and years, I wanted a red sports car convertible, and I had I think it's at least from like 2002 onwards. I had it on there for many, many years on the fridge, and I always wanted to, I used to have goal posters as well. I used to, cut things out of magazines and stick them. I had my goal poster there, and I would like have a cork board on the wall with loads of pictures of different things that I wanted. I'm also got my hobbies as well, like marine fish tanks, to like ham radio, because I'm a ham radio operator as well. And this equipment, very, very expensive and stuff. But I used to sort of stick stuff on the wall and thinking one day I'm going to have that, and now I do have that. But it took many, many years to sort of get there and have like what I had in mind. But the really weird thing is, and I didn't really sort of think about this until a few years ago, is some of the things I had on my goal posters in the sort of first few years of building my network marketing business. I didn't really sort of think about it, but some of the things that I have now were actually on my goal board, or my goal poster, that I actually own and have now, which I didn't have back then. But it's
I've
not.
heard that happen before for other people.
Yeah, the funny thing is I wasn't really sort of focused on it. It was all like sort of in the subconscious, I guess.
Wow, yeah, that is
Yeah,
a bit strange.
it is.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So looking back, James, if you could have done anything different, what would it have been, and why, like in the industry?
I think if I look back over the last 25 years, and it's a long time, but for me it seems like it's just yesterday. And I think the biggest, if I would say, what's the regret that I have, and that would have to be working, too much with the wrong people, spending too much time with the wrong people that actually, came into my business. I thought they were leaders. I thought they were good people. I thought they were like me, like-minded. But they, over the years, some of them have fallen away. And you can, when you look back over the years, you can spend an awful lot of time with those people. And, you sort of say to yourself, I think I should have sort of spent, more time with the with sort of, with the 20% rather than the 80%. It's the 20-80 rule. 20% of the people in your network are going to do 80% of the volume, and 80% are going to do 20% of the volume. So, you really have to sort of work out really quickly on, who's in the 20%, who's in the 80%. And, if I can have like, one thing that I would say was the most, the thing that I wish I didn't do, so much of, and that is spending the wrong time with the wrong people. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously you've had, I guess, some level of burnout on your way in your network marketing career. What's been your sort of worst period of burnout, and how did you push through that?
I think the worst. I can remember from like 1999 onwards to about 2002. I really, I wasn't in a great state of mind back then. Lots of personal challenges, and it was a time before I sort of really got heavily into like self-development and stuff. And the burnout was because I was trying to sort of like spin too many plates, do stuff for people in my team and do stuff for myself, and I had to be sort of here, there, and everywhere sort of thing. And then there was like personal challenges going on in my life as well. That was a time in my life, when I almost got to the point where I had burnout, and I could have very easily sort of let things slide and get in the way of my focus. But I think it's only when I actually got into self-development, started reading books and going to videos and going to a few seminars and stuff like that, that I actually sort of it helped me in my personal life, not just my business life. So, and then I think something changes in you as you go on.
So yeah, I mean that's going back right at the start, really, isn't it? You touched on there, and I know before being in network marketing, you actually had a long history of being in a completely different industry as being a baker. So what made you get into network marketing? Like, what is it that why did you decide to join the industry?
Well, actually, it's quite a long story, but I actually got into network marketing purely by chance. I had a friend at the time call over for a coffee, told me that he'd got into a network marketing company. Didn't really know what it was. I heard of it before, but I never really sort of knew, what it was and what it was all about and how he done it all and stuff like that. And this person actually quit the industry, so he signed me up, and unfortunately, he didn't stay around too long. I think he stayed in it for a couple of years and then sort of fizzled out. But he actually signed me into it. And so that's how I actually came into the industry. I wasn't actually looking at networking. I was just looking, he just basically came around for a coffee. And in fact, I was unemployed at the time. So I'd been a baker for quite a few years and, got made redundant. I was unemployed for about a year. I got fed up, just watching the same rubbish on telly. I didn't really want to go into the baking industry again. It's long hours and the pay's not that great. And it just purely by chance, I was in the right place, right time, and so was he. He just shared it with me, and that's how I came into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's like so many people come into this who are from completely different backgrounds and have never done anything like this before. So, what is the best way to work with someone who is really, really new in this industry?
Well, the best way to work with someone new that's just started, who doesn't know anything about the industry, is it's a bit like you've got to meet someone where they are before you take them to where you want them to go. You have to meet them where they are, not where you are, because they're not going to be at your level. They're not going to be, if you've been in for many years, you've read self-development and you've read the books and you've been listening to tapes and you're focused and you're going to be very different to those people that just first start doing network marketing. So you have to meet people where they are first before you take them to where you want them to go.
Yeah, really, really good advice. Really good advice. It's great having you on here. Does anything keep you awake at night?
Yeah, the excitement.
Yeah.
I think that's the shortest answer we've had so far.
It
Well,
is.
I mean, it really is. I mean, I can remember when I first got involved in it, and I think you were the same, Abby.
Yeah.
I just could get to sleep at night. It's like, I had these numbers in my head. I find 5, they find 5. It's like, man, this is crazy. This is insanely exciting.
Yeah, I hear this from so many people in the team, including my mother, who's a 76-year-old pensioner, and she says, it's ridiculous. I can't sleep at night, she says, because I can't stop thinking about it. And
It's best that you can't sleep at night through excitement than worry.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, so what are your habits to success, if you like? What do you do on a daily basis to keep things ticking over, keep things moving along?
Well, I try my best. I've got quite a few things that I do and other businesses as well, and I think you've got to have. I think you've got to get into a routine. You've got to have this sort of routine, and when I first got into network marketing, I had to sort of get like a to-do list, and I used to tick off the bits that the sort of things I had to do, and eventually, after a period of time, it just became second nature. I became very proactive in what I had to do. And I think anyone that comes into network marketing, that is, that starts to build a team, starts to sort of, learn new skills, and starts to sort of move and sort of grow in network marketing, they all tend to get into like a routine with it. What is like, a bit difficult in learning at first becomes like second nature. It's like riding a bike, you don't really think about it, you just get on and do it. But I think when you first start, when you're brand new to it, you've got to get into some kind of sort of rhythm and routine with it. And the best way to do that is, start with a to-do list and just work your way through your daily routine. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And it really, in a way, you've got to almost treat it like a job. You've got to be committed, you've got to be proactive, and after a while it becomes second nature. But then I also find, as I know you found yourself, that over the years you kind of go through this progression yourself where you pick up new skills, you develop more, you get more into personal development, and then before you know it, you look back, say, even just a year or two, and you think, wow, I can't believe I was doing things that way back then, because you've learned so much more in the past year. I mean, it's pretty incredible. You just sort of go on that natural progression and find yourself then doing the things that the people right at the very top in this industry themselves are doing. And it's...
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, I'm a completely different person to the one that I was in the past. I'm not even remotely the same. I don't think the same. I'm just very, very different than, the person that joined network marketing 25 years ago is a totally different person to today. But most of that is down to self-development. I wouldn't have lasted 25 years in network marketing had it not been for my self-development.
That's it. I think, especially in the early stages, like a lot of people will come into this industry, meet a few challenges, and then quit. And they'll quit before they even really get things like with the momentum going. And by just keeping going and just keeping applying and just constant, continuous, consistent action, eventually it gets to a point where it starts to snowball, and you get to a point that goes beyond any moments in the past where you might have felt like quitting momentarily. Eventually that just gets less and less, and then you get way beyond that point where
I've always looked at it this way. Building a network marketing business is like pushing up a snowball up a hill. Very hard going up first, and if it gets big, it gets really tough. As you get to the top of that hill, it's going to be a bit of a shove and a push. You're going to have to keep pushing, and it's going to require a lot of energy to get that. But when that snowball sort of goes to the top of the hill, and then it starts, to roll back down the other side, then, eventually that snowball is going to build a momentum, build and build and build, get bigger and bigger by itself. And there's a point in time where, you just won't be able to catch it up, and it'll just keep on snowballing without you. And that's really like what network marketing's like,
Yeah, I mean, that's a awesome analogy there. On sort of, so people understand, because I think a lot of people, they see the struggle and they sort of do it, they dabble in it for maybe a few weeks or a few months.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said it's always too early to quit before payday, and that's really, really true. You just you can't, if you were if I wanted to be a hairdresser, then I'd have to study 4 years before I cut someone's hair. If I was going to be a surgeon, I would probably be doing like 10 years on dummies before they ever let me loose with a scalpel on someone's body, So, network marketing, it's got a learning curve of, they say about 2 to 5 years, before you become real pro. So, you just got to give it time. You've got to give it time,
So it's like an education, like anything else, isn't it?
It's an ongoing, it's a constant and never-ending education.
It's a career, yeah.
It's a career. So at the end of the day, I mean, I'm still learning, and if I'm still learning after 25 years, if you're new to the industry, don't you think you should be? That it's that kind of thing, yeah.
I mean, so how have you dealt with, obviously, like dropout in the team and people quitting and people who you thought would do well who've left your business? How have you dealt with that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, I've always sort of lived by, some will, some won't, so what next, I don't get head up too much on people that leave, because they the people that come into this and leave, you don't lose out anything, not really, because they wouldn't have done anything anyway. So, you know, and if you've got to convince people to join your network marketing business, guess what you're going to have to do when they're in? You're going to have to convince them to do anything. So, you know, always remember, someone that joins against their will be of the same opinion still. So, you know, we're not in the convincing business. We're in the sorting business. So, you know, when it comes to like people that quit on me or like over the past 25 years, and there's been hundreds, then, you know, that's just part of it. You know, not everyone is going to succeed at network marketing. Not everyone wants to be a baker, butcher, or anyone, you know, any other profession. It's just the way it is. And the key to it is not to let it get to you. Just, you know, some will, some won't. So what next, and move on to the next, you know, get next. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going on from that, what are your thoughts on like the best way to grow a network marketing business? Is it through your warm market, people you're friends with, family, people you know personally, or is it cold market? Because we found that most of our team have come in all from cold market prospecting, and we just want your sort of opinion on that.
Well, that's another really good question. If you asked me that same question 25 years ago, I would have said, yeah, the warm market. You know, people you know. You know, there was an old saying in the past. You know, the fastest way to go is the people you know. And I used to sort of live by that. You know, go back 25 years. You know, anyone that could fog a mirror, I would sign up. You know, if they were breathing, I wanted them in my team. You know, but what with social media and the internet, and you know, we got YouTube and LinkedIn, Facebook, and all the other social media sites where there's literally millions and millions of people. I don't think there is a need really to go down sort of warm market route. You know, the only problem with, you know, people on the warm market is that, you know, they're not really the people you're really looking for, because they're just, you know, like friends and family. You're going to have to teach these people. And, you know, I think the best way to go is, you know, people that are like-minded to you, you know, and like I said, if you asked me 25 years ago, if, you know, the warm market's, you know, fastest way to go is the people you know, I would have said, yeah. But now with social media and what we've got in technology now, I would say, no, I think some of your best people, and that's the really exciting thing about network marketing, some of the best people that will come into your team that you don't actually know right now, they're going to come in, and there'll be people that you don't actually know. But the people that you do bring in are the ones that, you know, that weren't sort of leaders as such. I used to have a saying, and I still live by this, and every dud knows a stud. And what I mean by that is you might get someone in your team that sort of comes in, plays around with it for a little bit, and they do the activity like you for a while, and that activity leads to someone really good coming in. But the person between you sort of, you know, quits the business maybe. You know, that's why, you know, everyone I treat as equal in the respect of, like, you know, you just never know who they might bring in. But I think, you know, in this day and age, what with the internet and social media, I think it's changing, and it's changing also network marketing, because no longer do we have to really sort of, you know, write our friends on a piece of paper and sort of work them and sort of badger them, and you know, and sometimes it can feel like that, like you're badgering these people, you know, because let's face it, at the end of the day, you know, you're looking for people like-minded, people that, you know, are focused, people that see it, and, you know, maybe affiliate marketers and network marketers and stuff like that. And with social media today, you know, they're only a click away.
That's right. You know, with social media the way it is now, you can literally find network marketers, and instantly they're a lot more open to your opportunity because they're already in the same industry. They already understand how it works. And yeah, 25 years ago, it was all about making a list of people you know, and then getting them to make a list of people they knew, and then phoning them up and badgering them. And oh my gosh, you know, no one wants to be doing that then or now.
I think nobody wants to be a sleazy salesman, do they? Really?
Well, you got to be careful with the salesman's types, because, you know, if you are a salesman, you know, you got to be careful with that, because they're great at recruiting, but you know, you got to be careful not to sort of convince people to join, because, you know, you're in the sorting business, and some of the people that I've had in the past, the sort of salesman sort of types, they tend to sort of you know, sell it to them rather than to sort of sort through the numbers. And at the end of the day, you know, network marketing's a numbers game. If you've got to sell it to anyone, they're not going to stay long.
Yeah,
It is.
we did a video on this earlier, didn't we? Don't be the salesman in network marketing, and we were discussing the same thing, that it's about exposing the business to a lot of people and letting those people convince themselves to join.
That's right. Having said that, though, when you have a salesman who is also a network marketer and who has a lot of years in that industry as well, then these are the exceptions to the rules, because they know what they're doing, and they go on and do great things with it.
I think at the end of the day, you've got a job to do, and that job really is, your job is to put it in front of people. It's their job to join or not, or be interested or not, But at the end of the day, you just got a job to do, and that's just to get it in front of people.
Yeah, just to lay the cards on the table, isn't it? And
just getting people to your page, to your offer. It's like having a shop, isn't it? You want to get customers to your shop. You're going to advertise that shop. You're going to let people know that your shop exists. You're going to have your shop open, and you're going to invite customers in.
But you're not going to, if someone walks in the door, you're not going to go over to them and badger them and say, please buy this, please buy this.
That's right. I mean, most shops. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but most shops, if you was to stand in a shop doorway, and in the high street of your local town, most people walk by, and it's the same with network marketing. Most people you offer this to, they're just gonna, say no or walk by. Yeah, it's only very few that actually come on in. And that's okay. You only need a very small percentage of people that to join you to make really serious income in network marketing.
I mean, I said there's 7 billion people out there, isn't there? So
you never run out of people to talk to.
We're going to run out of people, especially on the internet and social media. You're just never going to run out of people. There's millions and millions of people, so that's the good news.
Yeah, the internet has really revolutionized the whole industry, and for shops as well and other businesses, it's really opened the doors to, like, there are so many shops here in this town alone that are only in this town. They're very local, and they still make money. They still have customers, and they've got such a small marketplace compared to what we have online with this. Like, we can reach globally. It's not even like we're just in this country. We are literally in every single country in the world. So there's nowhere we can't reach if people, it's just a case of getting out there and showing it to people.
It's really good, actually, because we're in two industries. We're in the affiliate marketing, we're in the internet marketing industry, and we're in the network marketing industry. So the two combined are just a win-win. Internet marketing, you've got people are just a click away.
That's what attracted me to the internet marketing. Is I knew there was huge scope there, because there's so many people out there looking for an opportunity. You just got to find a way.
I can remember in the early days, I used to put out like cards and flyers and cards on people's cars, and I used to card a car park like of 1,000 cars. I'd go home, come back in an hour and card it all again, because there'd be a whole load of new cars there, and I would put flyers through people's doors and stuff. And I've done, thousands and thousands of flyers, But I tell you, nowadays it's just, a click away. It's like click, click, and there it is.
That's a good point. And following on from that, do you feel that the offline methods are still relevant today? Do they still work? Do they still produce results? Or would you, if someone was coming into the network marketing industry, would you recommend that they solely build it online, or that they do some offline marketing as well?
I think it's absolutely essential to build it online. If you look at all the network marketing companies today, they're all doing something online. Some very successfully, some not so successful. But we live in the .com world, and there's just no getting away from it. There's no disputing it. Love it or hate it, that's where it is, and that's where it's staying. And as time goes on, I think you'll see more and more companies, like old-fashioned, old-style, old-school companies in network marketing. I think if they don't move online, then it's just going to fizzle out. Their way of marketing, the way they're like moving their products offline, will phase out.
Yeah, what do you think about people who have shiny object syndrome? And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's like people who go from company to company thinking the grass is always greener at the next company.
That's a really good question, Joe. Well, the grass might be greener, but it still needs to be mowed. And at the end of the day, when it comes to shiny object syndrome, which is like, the grass is greener on the other side. The grass is never greener on the other side. And like I just said, it still has to be mowed. And sometimes, the grass might be greener, but the grass is a lot longer. And, you've got to be very careful of that. Once you got to, there's so many opportunities today, especially on the internet. You just got to find one that's working for you. And if it's working for you, and you've recruited a few people, and they've started to recruit a few people, then you got to stick to that like glue to a blanket, because that's the one that's going to get you there.
That's it. And so many people will come in, not really do much with it, go chase the next object, and they never really make any one business work. They leave before they really gain any traction, and we see it happen all the time in this industry across the board. It doesn't matter what company it is, you're always going to get that.
The first book I ever read on network marketing was The Basics by Don Failer, and it goes on about the ships. If you imagine yourself standing on a dock, and it's quite easy. We call it jumping ships. So it's quite easy to jump ship. But some ships that go out, will come in gold. So, that's great. Some ships will be, silver. Some will be empty. The thing is not to jump into empty ships. You want gold ships, yeah? And, in the beginning of network marketing, you really do have to build the foundations of it all. And, it goes on in the basics about, jumping ship. And, you really got to stay focused in what you're doing. And at the end of the day, if you're growing a network marketing business and you're doing well in it, there is no need to jump ship. You won't even be looking at shiny objects, because you're getting growth and success in what you're doing. So I think it's only when you don't do a lot, or it's not growing for you. I've met so many people that are sort of in 100 different things, or they go from one ship to another. But they never really build anything. They're still, they're not building foundations and putting the roof on. They're just building foundations, and then they don't put the roof on. They go and build another foundation, and then they go and build another foundation. They're not actually doing anything, So
there's no skyscraper going up.
It's very interesting how you pointed out, and I think you can tell if someone's successful with an online business just by the fact if they're promoting a lot of different things, then clearly nothing is working for them, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the problem with that though is, people that do tend to go from, company to company, or what I call, jumping ship, like ship to ship, then, they sort of sail out on their ship, the ship sinks, they jump onto another ship, and that one sinks. Well, the reason it does is because they don't give it long enough, or they're not actually doing anything in it. And that's why they're always looking for that, golden nugget, which they're never going to find. Yeah.
Yeah, it all comes down to the person, the individual, really, at the end of the day, because you can make a success of pretty much any offer out there you can find. If you come across something that you really like, then you can make a success of it, but it all really comes down to you and the action you put in, the development you go through, the consistency.
Yeah, I think that's it, because you see, you can see that online just by the fact that let's say you've got a successful marketer in one business, and then they join something else, they immediately get results. They immediately build that one very fast. Whereas people who don't have that success in one business, they tend to jump around different things and not get any results with anything. So, I mean, you only have to look at one business and see, are there people making good money in that business? And then if the business works or not, just by that fact alone, so.
That's it. I mean, it's fine if you've made a success in one business and you want to build up an additional income stream. I mean, this one, we have several income streams inside it. We kind of made it that way so that you can grow several businesses inside this. But if you're in a company where you just have that one company and just that one income stream, make a success of that, and then is the time to perhaps look for another one to add additionally to it. But build up your first one first.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I always remember, what Jim Rohn says, regret weighs tons, discipline weighs ounces. And, you've just got to be disciplined to stay focused, stay in long enough, find a good company and stick around with it for a few years and work hard in it, and you'll be a success. It's simple as that. And I think at the end of the day, when it comes to We've talked about jumping ship and staying focused and self-development and all these different things. I think at the end of the day, you just got to really stay focused in what you're doing at the end of the day, and don't
focus.
don't get sidetracked. The shortest path to the moon is a straight line, and you've got to look at it like that. And there's on the way to the moon. If you ever spoke to an astronaut from NASA, they'll tell you they're making little corrections to stay on a straight path. Yeah, and that's the way you've got to build a network marketing business. It's like a straight line A to B.
Yeah, I really like the way you put that, making the little corrections on the way to the moon to stay on course. Sometimes you might have to make little adjustments.
What happens with most people is they're on when they first start out, they're on this course from A to B, but then they go off to the left or right, but are far too long on some other shiny object. And then what happens is eventually they come back on course, but the problem is it's taken them a lot longer to get to B, because they've been sidetracked by so many different things on the way. The quickest way to success is A to B. So you just got to stay focused on maybe that straight line. And if you're in a business like ours, or obviously we've got multiple income streams within the same sort of business, fantastic. But whatever network marketing company you're with, not just the one that we're with, you just got to be really focused and tunnel vision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think we've covered this, but I think it's something that a lot of people will be thinking about, especially when we've been talking about, you've got to be consistent, you've got to put in the hard work, obviously, to get started. But what do you feel is like, kind of like the minimum amount of effort that someone should put in to their business to stay on course? Because I know a lot of people don't have a lot of time to devote to it.
Well, I think if you're going to ask me, serious income equals serious effort. So for me personally, if you was going to ask me that, it'd be 100% effort. You've got to put 100% into it. Now, whatever that may be, if all you've got is 10 hours a day, then put 100% of your effort into 10 hours a day. If you've only got 5 hours a day, put 100% of your effort into 5 hours a day. So my answer to that one is 100% or 110% if you're really serious.
Yeah. Have you got anything else to add that we haven't covered, or any tips that you can give anybody before we end this video?
Well, if I could sum it up, you just got to, when you get into a network marketing company, you just got to, learn as much as you can, become a sponge, soak up all the information. If you're anything like myself, we're on social media and Facebook and so on. Just, all the trainings you can possibly get your hands on, just want to watch the videos, watch the trainings, listen to people that are where you want to be. If that's the most important bit of advice I'd give someone, that, and I would say, don't waste too much time with the wrong people. And at the end of the day, don't let too many things get in the way. Don't get sidetracked. Stay focused, and you'll be successful in networking.
All right. I think that pretty much covers everything. I'd just like to say, thanks for coming on and sharing your wisdom with us. And
yeah, it's been awesome. It really has.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's no problem. And anyone that's doing the activity, I think we didn't touch on activity. I think that's just before I go. Activity is high priority. You're never going to be successful in any business if you don't put in the activity. I think activity is like very high priority. Attitude and activity, I think, is the two things that are needed. But at the end of the day, there's two kinds of people in this world. There's ones that have desire and those that don't. And it's the ones that have desire. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. That's what will determine if you're going to be successful or not, is if you desire it or not.
Desire and action. Yeah, you can't wish your way to success. You've got to make it happen.
I think the desire will create the attitude and the action, and it will get you into self-development and improving your attitude.
If you desire it, you'll do the activity. You'll walk that extra mile. You'll burn the extra midnight oil. You'll do what it is necessary to to be the success that you're willing to work for. So I think desire is probably the most important word of all. I know when the only reason I've got asked before, different trainings and meetings and stuff and seminars that I've been at, that I've talked at. And what is the key or the secret? There is no secret. You just got to desire it.
Yeah, you've got to want it bad enough, haven't you? You've got to be in a position where, for whatever reason, you got into this industry. It's something about it attracted you. It could have been the freedom that you can get. It could have been the lifestyle it can create. But you've got to want it bad enough, because then you, and only then, are you going to put in the necessary action to make that happen a reality. And then in 5 years down the line, your life can be in a completely different situation
Yeah, and
by doing that. It's so worth it.
I think you're also going to push through the obstacles, aren't you? If
Yeah, it's like, if you're willing to walk over, burning coal to get what you want, then that's the kind of sort of mindset you need,
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been great having you
Not
on.
quite, because you don't want to get burnt feet, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's been great having you on tonight, and wow, awesome. And
yeah, I guess we'll wrap this up.
I guess
And
we'll wrap it up.
Great to be here, guys. Great to be here, and thanks for inviting me on tonight.
Yeah. And we'll wrap
pleasure.
it up. We'll wrap it up there, and have a great day, everybody. And we hope you got some awesome value out of that. And
I know I did. Just
I know I
listening
did
to,
as well. Yeah.
to you, James.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys on another video. Thanks for watching.